Welcome to another exciting day, another exciting presentation on the Dashaavtar series that we have been doing. So today we will be covering the seventh incarnation of the Lord. But before we begin, as usual, we will do our Mangalacharan. So everyone can sing along with me. Om Agnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Then next is Srila Prabhupada Pranam Mantra. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschadadesha Tarine. Then the Panchatattva Mahamantra. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. And then the Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we will continue with our Dashaavtar series. But before that, Anish and Jana, can you both hear me all right? Are you guys able to?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, and are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, great.
I start to set story time. Okay.
All right. Okay. So, as you guys know, we are doing the Dashaavtar series. So we have covered six incarnations of the Lord so far, the first 6 avatars. So we will do a quick recap of what we have covered so far. So the first incarnation of the Lord is Matsya incarnation. The Lord incarnated as Matsya or fish to ensure continuity of life on the earth following the great floods and to rescue the Vedas and sacred text from the demon Hayagriva. So, and these are the wonderful, beautiful Matsya fishes that you guys made. So it was really, really good. So the second one is the Kurma avatar, the turtle incarnation. The Lord incarnated as a giant turtle to assist the demigods and the demons in churning of the ocean. And then the third incarnation is Varaha avatar, the boar avatar. The Lord incarnated as a boar to rescue Mother Earth and to defeat the demon Hiranyaksha. And then the fourth incarnation is Narsimha avatar, half man and half lion avatar. The Lord incarnated as Narsimha to protect his devotee Prahlad and to kill the demon Hiranyakashipu. And then the fifth incarnation is Vamana avatar, dwarf Brahmana. The Lord incarnated as Vamana to protect Indra's kingdom and to give pleasure to his devotee, Bali Maharaj. And then the sixth incarnation, which we covered last week, Parshuram. Also, his other name is Bhrigupati. So the Lord incarnated as Parshuram to kill all the demoniac Kshatriyas of this world 21 times. So we covered this last week. So is everyone good until now? Like, is everyone fully aware of all the first 6 incarnations? Anyone has any questions on any of these incarnations that we have covered so far? Okay.
No, Prabhuji.
All right, good. So, all right. So, do you know which is the 7th incarnation that we are going to cover today? I am not able to hear any of you. Anish or Janav, do you want to unmute and give me the answer? I think you guys know which is the 7th incarnation, but I think you are too shy to.
Rama.
Yes, Ramavatar. Yes, Ramacandra. So today we will cover 7th incarnation, Ramacandra. Now, it is very difficult to cover the whole story of Lord Ramacandra in one presentation.
Ram, Sita, Ram.
Yes, Ram. So in this picture, you can see Lord Ram in the center, and on his left, so when we see on our right is Mother Sita, and on his right and on our left is Lakshman, and at near the feet of Lakshman, or we can say near the feet of all 3 of them, Lakshman, Sita, Ram, is Lord Hanuman. So Hanuman is in the mood of a servant to Lord Ram, to Mother Sita, and to Lakshman. So the Lord incarnated as Ramacandra to kill the demoniac Ravana and to establish the principles of religion. I think most of you, or like both of you, must be familiar with the story of Lord Ramacandra, but it is always nice to even to repeat the glories of the Lord, even if we know it, because it is purifying, and it is nectar to the ear. So because there is so much to talk about Lord Ramacandra, we will do this in 2 sessions, if not 3 sessions. So today we will cover some part of the story, because I want to I just don't want to rush and finish the story. So we can cover some part of the story tonight, and the remaining part we can cover in the next week. So we will cover the remaining part the next week. So Lord Ramacandra. So in our ancient India, there are 2 main great literatures, 2 main epics, or in Hindi or in Sanskrit we call itihas, that is the history. So Mahabharat and Ramayana are the 2 main major epics. Mahabharat we are very familiar with because Bhagavad Gita is a part of Mahabharat, and the other great epic is Ramayana. Ramayana is authored by sage Valmiki. Mahabharata is authored by Vedvyas. So Ramayana primarily narrates the life of Lord Ram. and that's the reason why it is called Ramayana. So it narrates the life of Lord Ram, and it consists of nearly 24,000 verses. So, like Bhagavad Gita, you would know that Bhagavad Gita has 700 verses, right? And then Srimad Bhagavatam has how many? 18,000 verses. So Ramayana has 24,000 verses, and it is divided into seven kandas or seven khandas. And this kandas is nothing but sections, 7 sections. So there are it is divided into 7 sections and 500 chapters, 500 sargas. So it is a very big book, and there are different there are different there are various types of Ramayans, so there is but the original Ramayana is authored by sage Valmiki, but then there is Ramacharitra by Tulsidas Goswami, and then there are various other Ramayans in South India we find. So there are different variations, but the original Ramayana was authored by sage Valmiki. So we will go according to the original Ramayana, which was authored by sage Valmiki. All right. Is everyone good so far? Good. All right. So, as I mentioned, there are 7 sections in this Ramayana. So there are 7 sections. We will try to cover the first 2 sections, but let's see how much we can cover today. So the first section is Balkand. Balkand describes the childhood of Lord Ramacandra. Childhood of Lord Ramacandra, Sita's birth, and marriage of Lord Ramacandra and Mother Sita. So Lord Ramacandra and Mother Sita got married. So and their childhood pastimes are covered in the Balkand section. The second is Ayodhya Khan. So Ayodhya Khan describes the preparations for Ram's coronation as a king. So Lord Ram was a son of a king. So as is the process, when the king decides to retire from his duty as a king, he normally passes the kingdom over to his son, to his worthy son who is capable of managing the kingdom. So Lord Ram was his eldest son, and he was also the most worthy to take over the kingdom of Ayodhya. So Lord Ram was the son of King Dashaavtar, which we will cover in the story today. And Dashaavtar was the king of Ayodhya. So, but before being handed over the kingdom of Ayodhya, there was sudden change of events, and he had to go into exile in forest. Why did that happen? How did that happen? We will cover that in Ayodhya Khan. And so, all right, I won't go much into detail here because we will cover that in today's session. Hopefully, we will cover that. So, and then section after that is Aranya Kand, which describes the forest exile of Ram with Sita and Lakshman. And then there was a kidnapping of Mother Sita by the demon king Ravana. So after Aranya Kand, there is a Kishkinda Kand where Lord Ram meets his devotee Hanuman. So Hanuman, as you would know, is the greatest devotee of Lord Ramacandra. And so Kishkinda Kand describes how Hanuman and Lord Ramacandra met in Kishkinda, and how Hanuman assisted Lord Ramacandra in finding the whereabouts of Mother Sita. And then in Sundarkand describes the detailed account of Hanuman's adventures, including his meeting with Mother Sita. And then the Yuddha Kand, or it is also called as Lanka Kand, which describes the battle between Lord Ram and Ravana, and how Lord Ram defeated Ravana. And then there is Agni Pariksha, which we will talk about when we cover the Yuddha Kand, and then Ram and Sita return to Ayodhya. Both Ram and Sita finish their 14 years of exile in forest, and then they return to Ayodhya. And then final is Uttara Kand, which describes Mother Sita's banishment. Love and Kush, who are twin sons of Mother Sita and Lord Ram, and how Lord Ram's dharma was fulfilled. So this is all we will cover in Uttarakhand. So today we will start with Balkand. Again, so there are 7 sections: Balkand, Ayodhya Kand, Aranya Kand, Kishkinda Kand, Sundar Kand, Yuddha Kand, and Uttarakhand. So now we will start with Adi Kand, which is the Bal Kand. So I will like zoom this little bit because the fonts may be little small. Well, it is written here Adi Kand, but the most common or the most accurate name is Bal Kand. Give me just a second. I want to start the spotlight. Okay. All right. So Adi Kand or Bal Kand. So the first is, as I mentioned, King Dashrath was the king of Ayodhya. He had 3 queens. How many queens King Dashrath had? 3 queens. Kaushalya, Kaikai, and Sumitra. But none of the queens had any child. So they all were very sorrowful. They were all very sad because they did not have any child. So on your left here, so let me start the spotlight. So on your left here, you see this is King Dashrath. And on your right on the screen are 3 queens. So one day, what happened is the king went to forest for hunting. So normally Kshatriyas go to the forest for hunting, and because this is their practice, this is how they practice, because whenever they have to fight a war, they had to be prepared. So one day the king Dasharatha went to the forest for hunting, and then he heard a sound from far, and he thought it's a deer drinking water. So he shot an arrow that could pierce the aim by the mere sound. So like he was so expert, King Dasharatha, that he could shoot an arrow to the object without even looking at the object. So he could just shoot an arrow just by hearing the sound of that object and shooting an arrow. So he just heard a sound and he thought it's a deer drinking water. So he shot an arrow. But unfortunately, it was not a deer. It was a son of a blind sage. He was fetching water from the river for his parents. So actually, both of his parents were blind. His mother and his father both were blind, and this boy's name was Shravan Kumar. Here it is written Sindhu, but the most common understanding is Shravan Kumar. His name was Shravan Kumar. So Shravan Kumar was fetching the water from the river for his parents, and the arrow hit Shravan Kumar, and he died. He died. But King Dasharatha was very repentant. He did not he did not do it intentionally. He thought it was a deer, and he shot an arrow, but unfortunately it hit the body of Shravan Kumar, and Shravan Kumar died. And so King Dasharatha carried his dead body to his parents, who were sitting nearby. They were waiting for his son, for their son to bring them the water. But King Dasharatha carried the dead body of their son to them, and he was very sorry. He was crying and very repentant. He asked them for forgiveness, but they were very hurt. So they were very deeply sad on hearing the news that their son was killed by King Dasharatha. So they cursed King Dasharatha. They cursed him that, because we, you took away our only son away from us, and we will spend the rest of our lives without him, and we will die without having him around. So similarly, you will also die grieving over your son. You will also die grieving over your son, and none of your sons will be around you when you die, will be present before you when you die. So King Dasharatha was very sad on hearing this curse. So he came to his family priest or sage, Vasisht, and he narrated the whole incident to sage Vasisht. But Vasisht told him that this curse is a boon in disguise. How can you mourn for a son unless a son is born to you? So King Dashrath um, was mourning that he will die, like grieving for his own son. But like at present, he did not have a son, as I mentioned before. Like none of his wives had a son. So so King Sage Vasisht, told him that there is no reason for you to be. There is no reason for you to lament. Um, but first, you should call the sage Rishi Shringya and have a sacrifice performed for a year. Then you will get a son. So first, you need to do a sacrifice, like how we do, in temples we do a fire yagya, right? Fire sacrifice, Narsimha sacrifice, or like other samskaras that we do, like we do a fire sacrifice. So similarly, you can perform a sacrifice uh, to get a son. So he um, advised him to call the sage Rishi Shringya and have a sacrifice performed for an year. So then what happened? So the sage Rishi Shringya was brought with great honor. And then the year-long sacrifice ended, and from the sacrificial fire came up a divine person with a dish of sweetened rice cooked with milk. So, like after they performed the sacrifice for 1 year, then there came a what we say, a personality, and he carried a dish of sweetened rice cooked with milk, and then he gave it to the queens. He gave it to the king and said, like, let the queens take this and they will have sons. So the king handed over the dish to his 3 queens. So his 3 queens are Queen Kaushalya, Queen Kaikai, and Queen Sumitra. And in some time, the queens had a son, had a child. So Kaushalya's son was Lord Ram, and he was the eldest. So, and among the queens also, you will see that Kaushalya is the eldest, or the first queen, and then Kaikai is second, and Sumitra is the youngest. So Bharat was a son of Kaikai, and Sumitra got 2 sons, Lakshman and Shatrughna. So how many sons King Dashrath eventually got? Are you following the story, Janav and Anish?
Prabhuji.
Yes, 4. I'm sorry, I was narrating the whole story, so it could be a little boring in the beginning, but it's gonna get interesting as we go along. So Kaushalya's son was Lord Ramacandra. Bharat was a son of Kaikai, and Sumitra had twin sons, Lakshman and Shatrughna. And then, because they are all Kshatriya, they eventually learned, like as they grew up. Now we are, skipping a lot of the pastimes here, for the sake of time. But so as they grew up, this princes learned the use of weapons and became great warriors early in the age. So all 4 of them. Okay, so then what happened? let's look at the next slide. So as King Dashrath grew old, he wanted to crown Ramchandra as the king, and then so that he could retire. So everyone welcomed this proposal with, cheers, and they were all happy that King Dashrath thought about this, and because everyone loved Lord Ram, like he was all whole of Ayodhya loved Lord Ramchandra. They loved each and every one, like Lord Ramchandra, then Bharat, Lakshman, Shatrughna, but they loved Lord Ramchandra even more than the other three. So Lord Ramchandra not only was um, externally very beautiful, but he internally also he had all the qualities, because he is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is as good as Lord Krishna. So this Lord Ram is, as per our understanding, is an incarnation of Lord Krishna. So in one sense, there is no difference between Lord Ramchandra and Lord Krishna. So he had all the qualities. So everyone loved Lord Ramchandra. And so King Dasharatha thought of giving the kingdom to his son Ram, and he thought that so that he can retire. Then, but what happened? There was this maid servant of Kaikai. Her name was Mantra. She informed Kaikai that King Dashrath has decided that he is going to hand over the kingdom to Lord Ram. Kaikai, even though she was the mother of Bharat, but she loved Lord Ram even more than his own son Bharat. She loved Lord Ram so much. Even though Lord Ram was a son of Kaushalya, but Bharat was a son of Kaikai, but she loved Lord Ram more than Bharat. So she was very happy, naturally, that that Lord Ram is going to be coronated as a king. But Mantra, she had different ideas. She told her that she told to Kaikai, if Ram is made king, then Kaikai and Bharat will be in endless misery. So, there is a, long conversation in Ramayana, where like Mantra is telling to Kaikai that, if you allow this to happen, then you will, Lord Ram will, will remove you from the kingdom, will remove you and Bharat from the kingdom, and will throw you out of the palace, and he will rule over the kingdom by himself. So she made up all the stories, and she just started polluting the mind of Kaikai. And eventually what happened, Kaikai got into her trap. So she believed her words. Even though what she was saying, what she was telling Mantra, it was all false. It was all made up. There was not a tinge of truth in those words. But still, Kaikai fell trap to her words, and um, she started considering Mantra as her well-wishing friend. So she was telling to she was telling to Mantra that, oh, you have saved me, like, you, um, it's only, like, because of you, like, I came to know, like, understand what is the actual whole purpose, like, why, like, King Dashrath is doing this, because at that time, um, Bharat and Shatrughna were at their maternal uncle's home, which was, like, not in Ayodhya. It was in a different, kingdom. So they went to their maternal uncle's home. Uh, so they were not there, but but King Dashrath, like, was planning on coronating, was planning on giving the kingdom to Lord Ram the very next day, even in the absence of Dashrath and Shatrughna, even in the absence of Dashrath and even in the absence of Bharat and Shatrughna. Sorry, not even in the absence of Bharat and Shatrughna. So Kaikai, like, when Mantra informed Kaikai that, look, like, he, like, King Dashrath is planning on giving the kingdom, and he is not even ready to wait for Bharat and Shatrughna to come. So this even, like, further polluted the mind of Kaikai, and she really thought that she really believed her words, Mantra's words. So then she started seeking her advice. Like, she was asking Kaikai, she was asking Mantra. And Kaikai was asking Mantra that, what should I do now? What should I do now? So Mantra gave gave her advice that you should ask Dashrath. You should ask your husband, your king, the king Dashrath, for two boons that he had promised you. So King Dashrath had promised Kaikai two boons, like two rewards that she could ask from him anytime. Like, because Queen Kaikai had helped King Dashrath in the past, in the war. So King Dashrath, like, was very grateful to her, and so he promised her that uh, Queen Kaikai can ask for any two boons, and he would fulfill those boons. But Queen Kaikai said that, she will not ask. She did not ask for the boons at that time. She said that, I will ask for the boons at a later time. Like, I will ask for the boons at a later time. When the time is appropriate, I will ask for those boons. So, so Kaikai, like, Mantra reminded Kaikai that now is the time to ask for those two boons. So, and she even suggested what those two boons should be. So the first is, make Bharat the king of Ayodhya. So Kaikai's son, she should ask King Dashrath to make Bharat the king of Ayodhya. And second is to send Ram to the forest for 14 years. The second boon was to send Ram to forest for 14 years. So this is what she asked. And then she even advised Kaikai, like, how to ask for these two boons. So we will not get into that, like, how Kaikai, like, did all, like, she threw all the tantrums, like, to get and to convince Dashrath to grant her those two boons. So she Dashrath. So what happened is, Kaikai started acting upset with Dashrath, like, so she was like, in order to get these 2 boons from King Dashrath, she, like, started acting very, like, upset. She started, like, um, showing that she's very upset with King Dashrath. So King Dashrath, in order to pacify her, he went to her and asked, like, if everything is okay. Then Queen Kaikai asked that, I have these 2 boons to ask from you. And King Dashrath, he did not know that Queen Kaikai was going to ask these 2 boons that Mantra had advised her. So King Dashrath said, yes, like, whatever you ask from me, you can. King Dashrath was in a joyful mood because he had just announced that he's going to give the kingdom to to Lord Ram the very next day. So he was very joyful. Like, he so in our joy, like, sometimes we, like, like we are very happy. So, like, if anyone asks us for anything, we are just happy to give them whatever they want. So so King Dashrath was very happy, and so he said, yes, whatever you ask from me, I will give you. So when Queen Kaikai asked for these 2 boons, oh, the King Dashrath, he was left speechless. He was left speechless, and like he could not believe his ears that he heard these 2 boons, these 2 requests from Queen Kaikai. He was very surprised to hear this, that Queen Kaikai, who loves Lord Ram more than Bharat, that she could ask for these 2 boons. When he heard that, and he was, persuading Queen Kaikai to change her mind. He even said that, like, if you want me to make Bharat the king, okay, I can do that. Even Lord Ram won't mind that. He would not mind giving the kingdom to Bharat. But why you want to send uh, Lord Ram to the forest? Why you want to do that? So, but Queen Kaikai, she was very, very stubborn. Like, she said, no, I just want these 2 boons. Else, like, she would commit suicide. That is what she said. So King Dashrath, like, had no choice because he had given a word. So this is also like another lesson to be learned here, that, when, because King Dashrath had given a word to Kaikai, he had to fulfill his promise. So he said, okay, if that is what you want. And then Lord Ram eventually, like, the news reached Ram. Again, there are different versions here, like how Ram came to know, but we won't get into that. But it's sufficient to say that when Lord Ram came to know that Mother Kaikai has asked for these 2 boons, he was um, ready to fulfill those promises. Like, he was not at all hesitant. Like, imagine, like, a person living in the palace with all the opulences, with all the riches, and then he suddenly asked to go to a forest where there are no facilities, like, and where there are wild animals with no, like, nothing, opulent to eat, um, with no comforts. But still, like, Lord Ramchandra was ready to go to the forest. All right, I will pause here for a second. Like, is like Jana and Anish, are you following the story? Is it interesting? Do you have any questions? Good. I'm seeing the
Yes,
sound.
Prabhuji.
Okay, good. Anish, are you following the story, beta?
Yes.
Good. All right. So yes, Jana, you have a question here?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Why Ram is sent to forest for long days?
What is your question again?
Why Rama is sent to forest for long days to stay there?
Okay. Yeah, so that is what Queen Kaikai wanted. Like, she wanted the kingdom for Bharat, but she did not even want like Lord Ram to be in the kingdom, because she was um, like Mantra had like polluted her mind so much that she was afraid. Kaikai was afraid that if Lord Ram um, is still in the kingdom, even with Bharat as the king, he would, like Lord Ram would devise some plan to take the kingdom over from Bharat. Like, he would devise some plan, and there could be some other reasons also, like, which I will have to look into, like, why, like, specifically for 14 years. But um, but the main thing is, like, she would um, she yeah, like, she really wanted the kingdom to be given to Bharat. I think there is one more reason which I'm not able to um, recall. I think there is why she sent uh, Lord Ram to for 14 years. But yeah, if I find out, I will, like, let you know. But yeah, but the main thing is, like, she did not want any complications. She just wanted her son to rule over the entire kingdom, like, without any interruptions, without uh, any anyone, obstructing him from taking over the kingdom. So that's the reason he just wanted to Lord Ram to be thrown away from the kingdom. Yes. So when Ram came to know that, he had to go to a forest for 14 years, like, his wife, Mother Sita, um, was ready to go with him. So there is, like, another, like, in a whole section, like, where, so this is the Ayodhya Khan we are reading. So we already finished the Bal Khan. So let me go back few slides and let me explain you what. So in the Bal Khan, there is also narration of the marriage between Sita and Ram. Marriage between Sita and Ram, which we did not cover in this slide, but uh, it is understood that, Lord Ram got married to Mother Sita, and there is a whole story, like how Vishwamitra Muni came to King Dashrath and asked for Ram and Lakshman to come along with him, and then how Ram, killed, like, various demons, and then how like sage Vishwamitra took Ram and Lakshman to Mithila, where, there was a Swayamvar, um, and how Lord Ram met Mother Sita, and how Mother Sita chose Lord Ram as her husband. So there is a whole, like, story. But long story short, Mother Sita and Lord Ram got married. In fact, all four of like Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, Shatrughna, all four of them got married. So Bharat, Lakshman got married to Urmila, and then Bharat also got married, Shatrugna also got married, and Lord Ram got married to Sita, and this all Urmila, then Mandvi, they are all like sisters of Mother Sita. So all four brothers got married to the four sisters, and yeah, and this thing happened after that. So like when Lord Ram was asked to go to the forest, so Mother Sita was also ready to go with him to the forest. She was like, I wherever she told to Lord Ram, like wherever you would go, Lord, my Lord, I will follow you. So Lord Ram tried to persuade her, tried to convince her that to stay back in the kingdom, because it would be too hard for it would the forest will be too harsh for her. But she did not listen, because she wanted to go with Lord Ram. So yeah, Mother Sita joined Lord Ram, and then Lakshman. When Lakshman came to know, Lakshman is younger brother of Lord Ram, but he was so attached to Lord Ram right from his childhood. Like he would just did not even spend a moment without Lord Ram. So he they Lord Ram and Lord Ram and Lakshman were always together. So like Bharat and Shatrugna were always together, and Lord Ram and Lakshman were always together. So Lakshman, he said like, oh, I will also follow you. Like I will also serve you in the forest. So he was like um, in the mood of a servant. Like he loved and respected his brother so much that he could like even sacrifice his life for him. So he said like, I will also follow you in the forest. So and hearing this, like his wife Urmila, she knew that Lakshman is a very devout follower of Lord Ram. So she said yes, like you go ahead. And even Lakshman's mother Sumitra, she was also like very happy to know that when her son wanted to go to the forest with Lord Ram. So Mother Kaushalya, when she came to know, she was crying and crying because that her son would be sent to the forest. But Lord Ram assured her that as soon as 14 years are passed, like he will come back. So he will like not stay in the forest even for a day more than 14 years. So consoling all of them and consoling all the residents of Ayodhya, because when all the residents of Ayodhya came to know that they are going to the forest, they all became very sad. They all became very sad, and they even like they all wanted to go to the forest along with Lord Ram, Mother Sita, and Lakshman, but somehow or other, Lord Ram tricked them and left them left them in Ayodhya, and they all went to the forest. That is Lord Ram, Lakshman, and Mother Sita. So let's see, what's the time? It's 7:58. Okay, so all right. So I think we can do the rest of the story next week. We can, or okay, we can finish the Ayodhya Khan. Yeah, actually, yeah, that is what we had planned for. Bal Khan and Ayodhya Khan, and then Aranya Khan we can cover next week, and the remaining Khans, the remaining section. So when when they went to the forest, Lord Ram, Mother Sita, and Lakshman, they met a king called Guhak, who was again a very good friend of Lord Ram. So they met Guhak, and who who took actually, yeah, we can stop here, and we can cover this next week, because yeah, there is a lot to talk about this whole section. So let's do the remaining part next week. So we can now cover we can do the rhyme for today. So today summary was Lord, how like King Dashrath had 3 wives, none of them had any son, and how King Dashrath went to the forest one day, and then he, like, by mistake, he killed a boy named Shravan Kumar, and there his parents cursed him that King Dashrath will also die without without his sons near him. When King Dashrath heard this, he was very disturbed. But he went to he went to his family priest Vasisht Muni, who advised him to perform a sacrifice in order to get the sons first. And then he arranged for the fire sacrifice. Like he advised him to bring the sage Rishi Shringa to perform the fire sacrifice. So the Rishi Shringa came and he did the fire sacrifice, and soon there was like after the completion of the fire sacrifice, there came a personality who brought a dish of sweet rice, and he said he gave it to the king and told him that to feed this dish to his 3 wives, and soon they will get the sons. So Kaushalya got the son Lord Ram, Kaikai got Bharat, Sumitra got twins Lakshman and Shatrughna, and then we heard that how, like, all of them got married. Like Lord Ram got married to Mother Sita, Lakshman got married to Mother Urmila, and so on. So, and then one day King Dashrath thought that he will retire and hand over the kingdom to Lord Ram. So Lord Ram, when this news reached Manthra, and Manthra polluted the mind of Kaikai, and she asked Kaikai to ask for 2 boons from King Dashrath, so that you can get the kingdom for her son Bharat, and send Lord Ram to the forest. So that is what Queen Kaikai did, and when Lord Ram heard this, he was very happy. He was not affected even a tiny bit when he heard this. So he was ready to go to the forest, and hearing this, Mother Sita was also ready to go along with him, and his younger brother Lakshman was also ready to go along with him, and they all departed for the forest, living in sorrow King Dashrath, Mother Kaushalya, Sumitra, Urmila, and all other residents of Ayodhya. They were all very sad on hearing this, and then they like actually King Dashrath's charioteer Sumantra, he carried them to the outskirts of Ayodhya, and from there they went on their own, all three of them. So the remaining part we will cover in the next session, and so today we will cover this verse from the Dashaavtar Stotra that we have been doing. This is from Geet Govinda by Jayadev Goswami. So this one, so I will try to sing, and then you can repeat after me. So first I will sing, and then I will do one word by word, and then you can repeat after me. Vitarasi dikshu rane dikpati kamaniyam dashamukhamali balim ramaniyam keshavadrita rama sharira jai jagadish hare jaya jagadish hare jaya jagadish hare. So the first word is vitarasi. So can you both repeat after me? Vitarasi.
Vitarasi.
Vitarasi, yes. Dikshu.
Dikshu.
Rane.
Rane.
Dikpati.
Dikpati.
Kamaniyam.
Kamaniyam. Kamaniyam.
Dasha.
Dasha.
Mukha. Mukha.
Mukha.
Mauli.
Mauli.
Balim.
Balim.
Ramaniyam.
Ramaniyam.
Keshavadrita. Ramasharira. Jaya Jagadish Hare. So Vitarasi Dikshu Rane. So okay, now three words at a time. Vitarasi Dikshu Rane. Yeah, you can repeat after me the first three words. Vitarasi Dikshu Rane. Yeah, then Dikpati Kamaniyam. Dashamukhamali. Balim Ramaniyam. Keshavadrita. Okay. Do you want to sing? Any one of you want to sing the whole thing? Okay, so I will try one more time. Vitarasi dikshu rane dikpati kamaniyam dashamukhamali balim ramaniyam keshavadrita rama sharira jaya jagadish hare jaya jagadish hare jaya jagadish hare. So the translation is, O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed, so there is a spelling mistake here, so who have assumed the form of Ramacandra, all glories to you. In the battle of Lanka, you destroy the 10-headed demon Ravana. So Ravana had 10 head. Like, we all have one head, right? So Ravana had 10 heads. So that's the reason it is called Dashamukha. So in the Sanskrit, you can see Dashamukha. Dasha means 10 and Mukha means head. Dashamukha, 10-headed demon Ravana, and distribute his heads as a delightful offering to the presiding deities of the 10 directions. headed by Indra. This action was long desired. This action was long desired by all of them, who were very much harassed by this monster. So, like, all the demigods were very much harassed by the demon Ravana. So today in our first slide, we mentioned that why Lord Ram took the incarnation. So to kill the demon Ravana and to protect the principles of religion, or we can say to protect his devotees. So like how he killed Ravana, which we will cover that later. But today, like, it's sufficient to say that he destroyed the 10-headed demon Ravana and distributed his heads. Like in the picture, you can see, like, the arrows killing, like, taking off the heads of Ravana. So in the picture, you can see, like, this is Ravana, and all his heads are flying here and there in all the 10 directions. So the 10 directions are what? North, east, west, south, and all, like, then there is between north and east there is northeast, then between east and west there is between north and west there is northwest, then between west and south there is southwest, and between south and east there is southeast. So these are 8: north, east, west, south, and then northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest, total 8. And then there is upper and lower. So these are all the 10 directions. So his heads were offered to all the on all the 10 directions. And because all the demigods were very harassed by this demon Ravana, so they were all happy when Lord Ravana was killed. So this is the rhyme, and this sloka, we can skip the sloka because we covered the same sloka last week, but to maintain the consistency with the other like with other groups, like we will there's the same sloka this week also, so we will skip this because we already covered this last week. But I can quickly summarize this. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityur dhruvam janma mritasya cha tasmad apahari harye arthe na tvam sochitum arhasi. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityur dhruvam janma mritasya cha tasmad apariharye arthe na tvam sochitum arhasi. Again, I will actually I will just go ahead because it's gonna take only 2 minutes. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityur. So you want to repeat after me? Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityur
Hiju Nityo
dhruvam
Dhruvam
janma mritasya
Nitasya
cha
Ja
tasmat
Tasmat
apariharye
Harihare
arthe
Arte
na tvam
Natvam
sochitum
Sochitam
arhasi.
Arhasi.
Yes, good. Anish, you want to try?
I don't know.
I can help.
Okay.
So Jatasya, repeat after me. Jatasya
Jatyasta
hi
I
dhruvo
Dhruvo
mrityur
Vinti
dhruvam
Dhruvam
janma
Janma
mritasya
Nityasya
cha
Cha
Tasmat
Tasmat
apariharye
aparihahe
arthe
arpe
na tvam
natvam
sochitum
shochitam
arhasi.
ardasi.
Good. So jatasya hi dhruvo mrityur dhruvam janma mritasya cha tasmat aparihare arthe na tvam sochitum arhasi. So the translation, as we also read last time, one who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after death one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. You should not lament. All right, so this is the verse, and then activity time. All right, so today's activity, again, you don't have to do any paper craft or anything, but it's kind of a quiz on what we have covered today. So this is the crossword puzzle. I think Anish has already dropped off, for some, I think he did it by mistake. But so Janav, you are the only one on the call. But I think you should be able to do it. It's very simple. So, have you done crosswords like this before?
No, Prabhuji.
Okay, I can help you here. So you see the numbers in these boxes, like the small numbers, like 1, 2, 3. You see those numbers? 4.
Yes, Prabhuji.
And okay, so at the bottom it tells you which answer would go in there. So you see, down is like the row which goes down, and across is the row which goes from left to right. The down is the row which goes from top to bottom. So if you see number 1, it says the demon king whom Lord Ram killed. So what would be the answer?
Ramana.
Ravana, yes. So in the first place, the answer is Ravana, and it already gives you a hint, because as you can see in the first box, the letter R is already written. So the remaining letters will be A, V, A, N, A. Okay. All right. So number 2, Lord Ram went into exile in forest for how many years?
60 years.
60 years? Wow, no. Why you want to send Lord Ram into exile for 60 years?
14 years.
14 years, yes. So that is right. 14 years. So Lord Ram went into exile in the forest for 14 years.
14 years.
14 years. Okay. And we will look at the answers in the next slide. But so yeah, this is also right. So the third is Ram was born as the dash son. So if you look 3 and box 3, the word starts with O and ends with N, which is not right, but okay. Yeah, it starts with the letter O. Ram was born as the dash son. Like, was he the youngest son, or was he
Eldest?
Oldest? Yes. So yeah, eldest or oldest, that's both are right. So Ram was born as the oldest son.
Okay.
Actually, it is correct. Like it is going from top to bottom. So yeah, oldest. So it starts with letter O and ends with letter T. As I can show you. Let's see. Yeah, here. You see?
Yeah,
Yes, oldest here. And then fourth is what? Lord Ram appeared at, so this is the name of the place.
Ayodhya.
Ayodhya, yes. It starts with letter A and then there is D in between. So Ayodhya, Ayodhya. Fifth, father of Lord Ram. So you can see here, it already gives you like lots of letters.
Dashaavtar.
Dashrath, yes. Dashrath. Then sixth, wife of Lord Ram. Who is the wife of Lord Ram?
Sita.
Yes, Sita. Seventh, one of the brothers of Lord Ram. But there are three brothers, but here it tells you like it starts with the letter B and ends with the letter A. The name starts with letter B and ends with letter A.
Next to
How many brothers Lord Ram had?
2 brothers.
3 brothers.
3 brothers.
And what are their names?
Ram, Lakshman.
And then?
Bharata.
Yes. So here the answer would be Bharata. And the fourth one is Shatrugna. But yeah, so here the answer would be Bharata. And the final one, 8th, the greatest devotee of Lord Ram. I covered this in the first slide or in the second slide when I was describing the different sections.
Hanuman.
Hanuman, yes. So here you can see it is filled out. So the first was Ravana, who was the demon king whom Lord Ram killed. Second is Lord Ram went into exile in forest for 14 years. Then third is Ram was born as a son, as the oldest son. Fourth is Lord Ram appeared at Ayodhya. Then fifth is father of Lord Ram, Dashrath. Then sixth is wife of Lord Ram, Sita. Seventh is one of the brothers of Lord Ram is Bharat.
Bharata.
Bharata. And the eighth is the greatest devotee of Lord Ram is Hanuman. All right.
No.
Yes. So great. So you did a great job. Like I think you got most of the answers right. I think only, yeah, in fact, all of them right. So very great job. I hope you understood the session today. Do you have any questions for me before we end the call?
No.
Good. Like you liked the story today?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, because Lord Ram Chandra's story is very important. And so like, I wanted to like, give you the detailed account of Lord Ram Chandra. So we will cover the remaining part of the story next week. And if there is a need, we will cover, we will take even one more session to cover the story. But, and then there will be a quiz at the end of all the sessions. So listen attentively. So please attend the next session as well. And
Okay.
I look forward to seeing all of you. So thank you. Thank you, Janav, and thank you to Anish as well, although he has left. So, so we will end the call here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Prabhuji.